Okay, let's talk about Air India now, where Times Network has learned from top sources that the centre is mulling putting Air India's divestment on hold until the 2019 elections. While the Maharaja's debt and the government's plan to keep 24% stake with itself is impacting the stake sale, the centre is reportedly not willing to dilute the conditions just yet. Let's go across now to my colleague Avni Raja joining us from the newsroom. Avni, now the national carrier has been bleeding for some time now, and there was some hope that this divestment will take some of the pressure off the government, but it seems those plans have been shelved for now.
Absolutely, Viren. Well, hope for the government. I mean, they thought that they would be able to offload 74% of Air India to private players, but doesn't seem like any of the private players had any kind of interest in buying that stake, because remember, we're talking about Air India, which has a huge amount of debt, and that was part of the plan to sell that debt as well as part of the 74%. So obviously, when you're talking about 24,000 crores of debt, no private player really wanted to come in and take on that kind of a burden. So for now, what we understand is that the plan to sell stake in Air India has been put on hold, because remember, the government doesn't want to dilute any further stake. It wants to keep 24% of Air India, considering it is the national carrier, so it doesn't want to dilute any more stake. So until they figure out another plan, that the plans to sell stake of Air India is on hold, at least until the 2019 elections. There were also talks about listing of Air India, but again, there will have to be a lot of improvement in the operational efficiency, and importantly, there is a rule of the market regulator SEBI that any company going in for a listing has to be profitable for the previous 3 years, which of course that criterion Air India doesn't fit at this point.
Right, and Avni, it's a different time for the aviation sector, of course, in 2018. This is not a few years ago when the aviation sector was, expanding rapidly. So that itself, has that also made things rather difficult to find a buyer in this current climate?
Absolutely, Viren. And we're talking about, remember, this is 24,000 crores of debt, and we all know the kind of problems that that Air India is facing at this point. So obviously, there has to be a complete rethink on how to go about improving the airline, to improving the efficiency, to reducing the amount of debt on the books, or maybe, not offering as much debt along with the stake sale, if at all, because that is the only way that any other airline, private airline, will want to come in and buy out even a part of Air India.
Right, Avni Raja, the reporting in that story for us. Well, the sale of the Maharaja has been shelved, it seems, again until 2019. Thanks, Avni, for joining us.